Hey, from Toledo, Ohio, it's the $200,000 PBA National Championship. In our first match, it's fifth-seeded Brian Brazeau, who's looking for his first title. His opponent won the first two tournaments of the year from Vidor, Texas, David Ozio. That winner will face the third seed, making his first career appearance among the final five, Martin Letscher. In the semifinal game, we'll see another player hoping to win his first title, Mike Miller. And our tournament leader from Albuquerque, looking for back-to-back titles, Norm Duke. And that's our outstanding field of finalists for this afternoon's Pro Bowlers Tour telecast. The Professional Bowlers Tour has returned to the River City of Toledo for a renewal of the $200,000 PBA National Championship. Toledo, Ohio is the bowling capital of the world. Right now, I'm inside Seagate Center. For the seventh time, Toledo is hosting the vast and impressive American Bowling Congress Championship Tournament. Hello again, I'm Chris Schenkel. The ABC, it's an organization of over 3 million bowlers. It's an organization that sets the rules and equipment standards. And once a year, as they have for 88 consecutive years, there's team competition, doubles and singles, which is going on right now. Bowlers from all 50 states and many foreign countries make the annual trek to a different city. It is really an impressive event. It is older than baseball's World Series, and yes, has more longevity than football's Rose Bowl. My colleague Nelson Burton Jr. is the only bowler to have won every category of the ABC competition. Bo and I both are very proud to be members of the ABC Hall of Fame. Nelson is at Imperial Lanes as we get ready for the finals of the National Championship. So let's join him there.
Thank you, Chris Schenkel. The American Bowling Congress Tournament. Truly the finest amateur tournament in the world. And not far from the American Bowling Congress Tournament is Imperial Lanes, the site of the PBA National Championship. And this is where the big boys play, the pros. And this is the National Championship, the first of 3 major championships held on ABC television this month. The pros have bowled for 7 straight days, 56 games. A terrific field here today and a capacity crowd. But the man with me in the announce booth is the hottest bowler in all of professional bowling. It took him 8 years to win his second title last week, and now 7 days later he can win a third title and a major championship. Norm Duke, what really has happened to you to make you so tough?
You know, it's a roll. It's a roll. I started bowling real good, and I don't have any titles. I said, listen, go out and get you some. That's the way it is. And this is a major. I'm going to go get me one today.
Who do you think you'll have to beat for the title?
I think all of them are worthy opponents. It's hard to say. It's not up to me to choose who's going to win. It's up to me to try to beat whoever gets to me. So that's what I'm going to try to do today.
All right, Norm, good luck. Let's see how the PBA has laid out the lane condition for this major championship. First place, the oil is 45 feet down the lane. And there's oil right down the center. And then there's dry on the back end of the lane. The last 15 feet are very dry. And so the players are playing all sorts of lines. The players are coming in from the outside line. They're also coming in with the big hook ball down the center of the lane. So Chris Schenkel, there's a lot of different lines in the pocket, 90 minutes of great action, and following us is Wide World of Sports.
Okay, ABC Sports is proud to be back doing the Nabisco Dinah Shore event. It's a great event for the ladies, one of the finest. Field includes Nancy Lopez, Beth Daniels, defending champion Betsy King, and pal of mine who's doing really well, Amy Alcott. And it's a tournament named for one of the grandest ladies of all time. I've enjoyed working with Dinah Shore. Wide World, of course, will be back here on ABC tomorrow following the Professional Bowlers Tour. $35,000 of the winner today. Big pot, 18 for runner-up, 10, 8, and 7. National Championship, 11th time here at Imperial Lanes in Toledo, Ohio, on a cool but very sunshiny day. And David Ozio, you remember him at the beginning, won our first 2 tournaments. They wish each other good luck, and it'll be Brian Brazeau of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, up first television nationally ever.
Chris, in the championship here, there's a couple of different lines we saw, but especially the left-hand lane here hooks tremendous a tremendous amount more than the right-hand lane. Experienced players have a big advantage. Brazeau, his first shot on national television.
Come on, come on.
And the non-winner on the PBA Tour. Beckoned that baby to hit the pocket. It sure did. Now David Ozio, who won our first two events here in 1991. So smooth, but it didn't come up leaving the two-pin.
Ozio with a classic style takes a five-step delivery. Watch the smooth arm swing, shoulder high, good position right there on his pivot step, stays low of the line, good high follow through, and that's one of the reasons he is one of the top players on the tour.
All right, David Ozio, who already this year has earned $77,955, and he was the leader until last week when Pete Weber, finishing fifth, added a little more than $5,000 to take a slight lead. Things can change today, of course, with the winner's share of being $35,000. David Ozio's first strike. 36-year-old pleased with that shot, and look at that concentration.
Brazeau, when he had a chance, he performed. In the 56th game last night, he finished with 4 strikes to knock Marshall Holman out of the top 5. Holman would have had a chance for the Triple Crown if he had qualified today. Not so.
Carry.
And it did. Big double for Brian Brazeau. And Bo, speaking of 7 through 11, Holman, Weber, Warren, Walter Ray Williams, and Dave Ferraro. What a group.
Brazeau with a nice 5-step delivery, a low push away, almost in the same position as Ozio, not quite as much momentum in the pivot step going the line, an ideal finish in. Chris, surprisingly, has started very well with 2 strikes in a row.
There's a long-time bowling series on television in Milwaukee called Bowling with Champions. Brian has been on it at least 15 times, he says.
Oh, boy.
Oh, nice break on the 4-pin, Bo.
Well, that experience he got in Milwaukee, that's really a world-class show. I bowled on that show myself, Chris, so he's bowled against some top-notch competition. He gets a little love tap from the 2-pin, trips out to 4. He started with 3 in a row. Now here's Ozio.
So that double for Ozio cuts Brazeau's lead now to 10 pins. If you just joined us, we're in Toledo, the PBA National Championship, our first match. David Ozio describes his professional interests away from the bowling tour.
Well, I hope that someday in the future, when I start to drift out of bowling, naturally I want to get into business off to the side, but I would like to pursue more on the professional fishing lines. I've been a bass fisherman all my life and dedicated a lot of time to it, and are now currently working out and practicing, and go to a lot of tournaments, have some computer simulator programs to work on it, and just the interests have grown larger. There's a lot of money to be made out there, but I think it's a virtually untapped sport that requires a lot of knowledge and a lot of skill to do, and that's another challenge for me to work on.
Okay, David Ozio will return to Imperial Lanes at Toledo, Ohio for our national championship after this.
We invested $100 million in the latest diagnostic equipment, and another $5 million a year training our expert technicians to use it. We are Goodyear certified auto service retailers, and we believe everything we do, from tires to tune-ups, should live up to the most exacting standards of all, yours and ours. Good tires, good service, good people, Goodyear.
Red Devil Clear Polyurethane. You can always count on its durable finish. Harder than ordinary clear finishes, its beauty lasts and lasts. Red Devil Clear Polyurethane for the finish of a lifetime.
If you smoke and wear dentures like my scriptwriter friend, you need new Smoker's Polident. It powers away tough tobacco stains. And now it has even more minty mouthwash ingredients to leave your dentures
minty fresh clean.
Try new Smoker's Polident.
They all laughed at Christopher Columbus when he said the world was round.
They said a more powerful new V8 engine would only speed your trip to the gas station. They haven't driven the new Ford Crown Victoria.
Ho, 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 who's got the last laugh now?
More powerful, more fuel efficient, more than ever it's the new Crown Victoria.
That's nice.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
We've returned to that Ohio city on the banks of the historic Maumee River. We're at Imperial Lanes again. And this is the PBA National Championship, the first time ever on our telecast. Is Brian Brazeau. He's here hoping to win it all, and so is Sion, his wife. Just didn't come up. If you joined us, he had 3 in a row, and he was shooting in the 4th frame. So Nelson now he has a 2-4-5.
Chris switching bowling balls. He's quickly up on the approach, and he needs to get the ball right up in between these 2 pins and just let the ball slide right between them. He's excellent shot.
Okay, as he moves over, he shares his thoughts with us, what they have been all week here in the National Championship as a non-winner.
Well, basically, all week long, I am a part-time player, just a regional player, and I just come out here basically trying to get a check, and if anything goes beyond that, that's great. It really is kind of a dream come true to be even on the TV show, and especially being a national championship, and I'm just going to try to relax and have a good time and just see what happens today.
Well, he made a good shot there, Chris.
Imagine now, 5 frames, and he has 4 strikes.
Ozio playing the extreme outside line, right around the first arrow on both the lanes and avoiding the track area that's worn between the 2nd and 3rd arrow. Brazeau, a different route. He's playing between the 3rd and 4th arrows and staying inside.
Too hard.
Going for 4 in a row.
Too hard.
That one crossed over, and he
Hit it too hard. Let it go. Come on, bring it back.
What he has to do is get the ball over in this area, carry out the back 2 pins, got to avoid the chop. If he does it that way, we will have a tie match.
Both of our first game bowlers are wired for sound. You'll hear their comments.
Shooting that spare is more fun than hang gliding into a tornado.
Okay.
David Ozio playing the extreme outside line. He's standing right here on the approach, sliding here. We'll try to cross the ball right between the 2nd and 3rd arrows and do a nice, smooth shot.
Come on, ball. Hook, hook. Yeah.
That was on the left lane, and David Ozio of Vidor, Texas, shooting in the 6th frame. Now, the winner of this game will meet another non-winner, Martin Letscher of Bel Air, Maryland. Then from Albuquerque, Mike Miller, and then from Fort Worth and Albuquerque, Norm Duke.
Brazeau using the full grip, his fingers just a little bit past the first knuckle in the ball. A urethane bowling ball, standard style. Could take the lead.
Oh, yes.
Big shot. Leading now again, as he did from at the start, by 10 pins.
Brazeau had a 300 game this week, and Chris, he's a 227 league average bowler. Bowls just part-time on the Pro Bowlers Tour, and a member of the Midwestern Regional section of the PBA. The PBA has 7 regions around this country. As his wife Sion looks on, he could now take a 20-pin lead, 7th frame.
Oh, how about it?
Yes. All right. Brian, who loves to teach, is giving a little lesson here today. Out to a 20-pin lead, and we'll be back.
for the lawn and garden is here. First, cultivate or weed with the Garden Weasel. It's just $16.88. And make pruning easy with the Remington 12-inch electric chainsaw for just $45.99. Then get the Green Thumb Poly Lawn Cart for just $29.88. And the Weed Eater 10-inch electric trimmer, it's only $29.99. At participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
I used to have dandruff, so I tried Head & Shoulders. Then I tried Selsun Blue. Blue is better.
Selsun Blue relieves dandruff flaking better than Head & Shoulders, and doctors recommend it more than Head & Shoulders, Denorex, and Tegrin.
Blue is better.
Selsun Blue.
Power Stick Antiperspirant. It excels with 50% more odor and wetness fighters per stroke for 24-hour control that ordinary deodorant sticks just can't beat. Power Stick, the power that puts you in control.
I'm Donna Shore. Don't miss the excitement as one of the greatest events in golf moves to a brand new home. It's the Nabisco Dinah Shore, next on ABC Sports.
Ah, yes, there was a little promo from herself, Dinah Shore. A lot of fun doing tournaments there with her. Mission Hills, $600,000 purse. That'll follow us here on ABC Sports. And now hoping to come back is David Ozio. He did it all week long, and he'll probably do it here. Strike up, 7th frame.
Come on, baby, hook. Carry it.
He moved from 22nd, first round 5th, then back to 16th, then into the finals with a 268 game, Bo.
Thank you, Chris. And the man who will meet the winner of this match, Martin Letscher. Marty, you've never been in a championship round before. How do you feel at this point?
I feel a little shaky right now, but I feel pretty confident. Looking forward to it.
How about the scores? You surprised they're this high?
I'm surprised they're real high, but we'll see.
All right, he's ready, Chris. He'll meet the winner of this match.
He has support. His mom and dad flew in from Bel Air, Maryland. Vider, Texas now.
It's close. Get up, shake it.
And the match now is all even as a result of a 3-bagger. Second time that we've been level here in our first match in the PBA National Championship. Brian Brazeau and this man, David Ozio. Battle royal here. That was an 8th frame, and those we went away to the commercial, and with David Ozio in this first match, we had shots of fish, walleye pike being caught in the Maumee. It's that time of year here in Ohio, friends. Ooh, it looked good.
As you see the shot of Brazeau, Chris, he wasn't fishing on that shot. He was going right to the pocket. He had the head pin go to the sideboard, take out the 4, 5, and 7, has regained the lead by 10 pins, but the crucial 9th frame. Here we go.
And then, go ahead and say it.
The 4, 7, 10, Chris, and just in a critical situation, he couldn't afford it. He needs to get the ball over in this zone right here, slide the ball over into the 10 pin, and what he has to do is get the 4 pin sliding right in there. He has to go for it at this point in the match. Big shot.
And 212 now to the 9th frame. Hear the pinfall of Mike Miller warming up, staying loose off to our right. Here's Ozio talking about fishing. We don't know too many people who will pull a bass boat from city to city to fish. This is the Isaac Walton of the Professional Bowlers Tour.
He loves it, and this is a big shot for him. You got to jump on your opponent when he gives you an opening.
Help that. Hold it. Yeah.
David wasn't convinced until the last moment, was he, about that shot?
Well, he said he helped it. He has a wireless mic on, and what he meant there is he gave it a little bit too much power. But the right-hand lane, as we said, is quite a bit slicker, and you can get away with that shot on the right-hand lane. On the left-hand lane, it had been disaster. But he's put himself in a position to bowl a 267 game. And the strike here, he'd shut out Brian Brazeau.
His high during the week was 289. Brazeau had one of the 4 300s.
All right, baby doll, hook, hook, hook. Yeah!
Baby doll, huh? Baby doll.
Checking the scoreboard, I think Del Ballard Jr. with his Ballard ball there to give Weber the title a few weeks back has made everybody conscious of the fill shot. And so needing 6 pins to win, David will not take a chance and send it very wide.
Really finishing so strong as he did last night. He moves on. David Ozio. ABC Sports presentation of Professional Bowlers Tour will return after this message and a word from our ABC station.
They all laughed at Christopher Columbus when he said the world was round.
Did you see this? What? Ford says they got a big car that's got even more room. So? But handles more like a sports sedan. I'm sure it does.
They all laughed when Edison recorded sound.
Hey, get this. They said they made this V8 for it. Yeah. That's got more power, get better gas mileage. Yeah, right. That's what it says here.
They all laughed at Wilbur and his brother when they said that man could fly.
So, when is this miracle car coming out? 1999?
Try today.
Ho, 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 who's got the last laugh now?
Introducing the new Ford Crown Victoria.
That's nice.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
Sunday on Brinkley, college sports. Too much money, too little education. Can there be reform? The president of UNLV and Duke's head basketball coach. Sunday.
A1 Lincoln Rental has everything for the homeowner, contractor, and party needs. Everything for the contractor from bobcats, backhoes, trenchers, rollers, and air compressors. Party needs like tents of all sizes and shapes for all occasions, plus tables, chairs, and party supplies. Come on in and talk to our knowledgeable and friendly staff. If you need it, don't buy it, rent it. A1 Lincoln Rental, 5231 Simpson Ferry Road, Mechanicsburg.
Harrisburg Copiers wants to help your business be more productive with Mita high-performance copiers, the advanced copying system for today's business needs, the pressures of business. Today's copiers must be faster, easier to use, more reliable, versatility and productivity. Mita Copiers, performance and beyond. Harrisburg Copiers stands behind every Mita copier with service and reliability. See the selection of quality Mita copiers at Harrisburg Copiers. Simply the best with 25 years experience.
WHTM TV 27, Harrisburg.
The Pro Bowlers Tour. Brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just alike. By Head & Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And by Speed Stick Deodorant. The wide stick gives you the edge. Speed Stick Deodorant by Menon.
I think you'll agree it was a big first game. David Ozio, 10 strikes, defeating Brian Brazeau of Milwaukee, 267-232. So now it's Ozio against Martin Letscher of Bel Air, Maryland. That's our next match. Capacity crowd is always here at Imperial Lanes. We expect the same next week at a great establishment in Peoria, Illinois, as we go there for the True Value Open. And that is 1 week from today, $200,000. And the bonus for a perfect game from True Value would be doubled to $200,000.
A lot of dollars in the way they're throwing strikes here today, Chris. We could see a big game here today. And something to look forward to next week as Robert Lawrence defends his title is Big Steve Cook. We haven't seen him much in the last year or so. He's been in a slump. He really hits that Peoria Bowling Center really well. And I think it's going to be a real test for him. I'm rooting for him, Chris.
Well, at one time here, the lefties dominated for a while at the Imperial Lanes.
For a number of years, it was the lefties in the early 80s. The righties dominated in the 70s. It seems to have balanced out some in the last couple of years.
Okay, Marty Letscher, Bel Air, Maryland, looking for his first win in match play. Total of 24. He was 13, 10, and 1.
Marty, just a kind of a journeyman player back in the early 80s, has revamped his game and is trying to give the tour a full-time try out here.
All right. So, for somebody not that experienced on television, nervous frame is over, and it's a spare. So now Ozio, who had 10 strikes, shooting a .267 in the last game on the right lane. Is he lined up properly?
He's lined up, and such a tough player. You know,
re-rack.
He's asking for one of his 2 re-racks he's allowed each game. And Chris, you know, you talked about the American Bowling Congress tournament here in town. They also have a tournament that runs along with it, the Bowler's Journal tournament. And David Ozio went down there. It's open to amateurs and pros. David went down there this week and averaged 260-something down there to take the lead. So he's telling all his amateurs, go down there and try me.
You speak of competition tomorrow on ABC. The World League excitement returns as the New York, New Jersey Knights continue their unique road trip. Next stop, Wembley Stadium, take on the London Monarchs. Coverage begins at 1 Eastern, 12 Central and Pacific. That's tomorrow here on ABC. Shoebagger. There were 4 lefties in the final field of 24, and you may remember one of them was Mike Albee, and he won here in 1985.
Earl Anthony had 3 victories here, so left-handers have done quite well.
And Bo, of course, you won here in 1970, and then you were on 9 telecasts here. Wow.
I know this championship very, very well.
Something fell out on the lanes, something off his glove.
And Dave Smart from the PBA is going out to get it. And the rule for a foul is simply this. If you cross over the foul line and touch the lane, as Dave removes that from the lane, it's a foul. If something comes off your body and goes across the lane, theoretically, you should call timeout. So since we had a PBA official go out there and get it, there's no foul involved. Letscher for the spare.
Come up. Oh, darn.
I'll tell you, it could have been perturbing to him to have his kind of concentration broken by kind of a freakish thing, having a piece of his wrist device coming out on the lane. He slides by, misses a 10-pin, and he's really opened the door for David Ozio in the early going.
Those marginal thoughts, they bug me all the time, when I'm playing golf or whatever. Better. Martin Letscher. Good comeback. Wonderful composure, Marty. Marty is 34 years old, 5'11", 195. Here's a 36-year-old champion. 8 PBA titles. 5'11", 175.
Not too much. Same thing twice in that lane.
Just a little soft on the lane. Ozio with a tendency, as everybody has, on a slicker lane to back off the speed, let the ball finish a little more. He backed it off too much. Avoids a split, has the 6-10 spare.
David Ozio last year made $99,655. Winning with his pal Steve Wonderlich, the Showboat Doubles. They were bowling from the top seed in that event.
Come on.
10-pin.
And speaking of the doubles, we're going back to Beaumont, Texas, and everybody's looking forward to that for the PBA doubles. And David Ozio, that's his home house, so he and Wonderlich should be a factor in that tournament June 1st on the summer tour. Now Ozio for the spare.
Can't wait. All right. David Ozio continuing to mark here at Imperial Lanes in the National Championship.
Good times roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never let you down.
No better way to face the day when the sun comes up.
warning belongs to Speed Stick. It's what more men reach for: to prepare, to prevent, to protect. Speed Stick, 110% protection.
No better way to face the day. No better way to face the day.
Speed Stick, 110% protection.
It's hammer time. Bowling's Best will try to nail down the trophy at the True Value Open on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour next Saturday.
Martin Letscher, the definite underdog in this second match, can cut David Ozio's lead to 9 with a strike here in the 4th frame. And he does that. Bo, the game is on.
Thank you, Chris. The man with the most powerful bowling ball in all of our sport, Mike Miller. You've got to feel like you're a little snake bit. You've never won a game in a championship round despite a 230 average. What's going to happen today?
Well, I'm going to leave that one up to the grace of God. I'm going to let him take care of that one for me. I'm just going to go ahead and keep throwing strikes, and we'll just see what happens.
230 average, you got to win a lot of games. Good luck in the semifinal. Back to you, Chris.
Now to take the lead by 1. Lofted out on the lane. Martin Letscher. His first television nationally ever. Now, David Ozio, the 60-lane house, and it's packed to capacity with spectators. Had David Ozio won the first match over Brian Brazeau, 267 to 232, striking the 5th.
Chris, as you said, 60-lane bowling center, but back when it was originally built in the 1960s, it was a 36-lane center. They added the first 14 lanes on, and then 10 more lanes from Japan in the mid-70s. So this is actually a 3 bowling centers in 1, a good test for the national championship. Ozio, 6th frame.
Man, fall back, fall back. Yeah.
Surprising that Ozio would, what we say, lose a pair of lanes. He's a good match game player, and he's used to sitting there and practicing a lot, and now he's kind of lost and making shots that are a little bit off. He's been high or light on the right-hand lane, then high here on the left-hand lane. Chris, and he practices more than 100 games a week, uncharacteristic of this young man.
That's trouble.
Ooh. David's a great guy. He lets it all hang out, doesn't he? It's a good one to Mike. Three in a row. 6 frame to take an 11-10 lead. All right.
Here's a fellow who has improved his games all the way through the decade of the 80s. He used to have a big bump in his arm swing. He'd get it in this position and bump out. Now he keeps it inside out. See it right by the left leg. A good loft over the foul line. An ideal result. And a loft is important in this bowling center because there used to be a track area worn between the 2nd and 3rd arrows when they had a lacquer surface instead of the urethane surface they have now. A loft overcomes that track area.
Didn't come up as one of his rooters wished. So now it's going to be 1, 2, 4, 10. And what'll he do, Bo?
The washout. What he has to do is get the ball in this area and have that pin slide over into the 10 pin. The head pin can go to the sideboard. Good shot there. That's what Marty needs right here in the 7th frame.
Oh, yeah. What a conversion by Martin Letscher of Bel Air, Maryland.
Ball takes out the 1, 2, 4. Head pin takes out the 10. Chrissy maintains the lead. It's kind of shots that championship matches are won on. The tough ones, everybody can get strikes. The tough spares are important.
We'll return with more of our second game here at the PBA National Championship. But first, this word.
Hold it, ho, ho, ho. So you're going to finally meet Cindy, huh?
Tonight.
Good. So first impressions are very important.
I think.
Okay. Now imagine, lights are low, the music's soft. Knock the door opens up. Somebody's out there doing this.
What is this? She's got dandruff?
No, you have dandruff.
No.
Yes, you
I
do.
shampoo every day.
You could shampoo your brains out with regular shampoo. Wouldn't matter.
Brains out?
Yeah, well, so use that.
Head and Shoulders?
Works for me, my friend.
But you don't have dandruff.
Exactamundo!
Head and Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Dear Thompson's, midway through waterproofing, I ran out of Thompson's water seal and finished with another brand. Then it rained. You could see the difference. Thompson's worked. The other side looked like I hadn't used a thing. Nothing tops Thompson's. Sincerely, Marcia Jackalone.
Top-of-the-line parts, expert advice. That's your Big A Auto Parts store.
Keeps your car running right.
I'm Donna Shore. Don't miss the excitement as one of the greatest events in golf goes to a brand new home. It's the Nabisco Dinah Shore, next on ABC Sports.
The Nabisco Dinah Shore next. Here's a great champion, Triple Crown winner, Tony Petraglia. Won the national championship in 1980, a little north of here, Bo.
Sterling Heights, Michigan, just outside Detroit. Now, Ozio.
One of the great comeback bowlers anywhere.
You think of how Ozio has bowled so far in the championship round on ABC television this year. He won the first two championships we had out in Las Vegas and out in California with a 250, a 270, and he bowled 260. Plus, in his first game here today, he has a potential 247. He is really knocking him dead. He needs a strike to take the lead.
I'll have to ask his wife, Lisa, but I bet he can dance.
At least we know he can slide. And speaking of sliding, the Ducats have a special finish on the pin deck area that keeps the pins from sliding around, makes them fall down better, so we won't see pins sliding, just falling down.
Marty Letscher of Bel Air, Maryland, needed that one. Marty had arm surgery about a year ago. Came back from it, hasn't been out on the tour full time, but he loves it. He was 21st at the Leisure Long Island tournament. His mom and dad are here to cheer him on, Ann and Paul. He has 12 uncles, he says, that have bowled perfect 300 games. So the family is strong in this sport.
And he needs a strike right here in the ninth.
All right. Mom and Dad.
Proud of their son, and he was really apprehensive going the championship round, and he has answered the call because he has come back, and each time he got a little bit behind the match, he'd throw a couple of doubles to put the pressure on Ozio. But right now the situation for Ozio is he can shut out Letscher if he strikes the ninth and 3 strikes in the 10th. It'll be 247. There's nothing Marty could do.
That's going to have to lay down.
But instead leaves the 6-9-10. We don't see that too often, Bill.
No, and it's a very choppable spare. And what can happen, you can chop the 6-9 off the 10 or the 6-10 off the 9. He's got to get the ball right in this area and make sure that neither one of those pins get chopped off. So, tough shot for Ozio here in the ninth. He will trail by 10 pins if he converts.
David making sure by looking at the score sheet, as you do.
Great possibility of a tie game, Chris. Let's put Ozio with a strike or a spare strike situation. He'd be around 213. Right now, Marty Letscher going at a 220 pace. So anything can happen, 10th frame to bowl.
All right, carry ball. Get carry. Yeah, all right, one more. Come on.
Texans fired up today. I'd like to have him as my ranch hand. He could move those cows, couldn't he?
Well, we have some tough Texans on the PBA Tour. There's about 10 of them out here that they're really making it tough for everybody else.
Including
right
our
now,
tournament leader.
You're right. Can make it an even match with a strike here in the 10th.
All right, baby doll. Lay there. Yeah!
know, John Jowdy in Columbia's sponsor. They're liable to name a ball Baby Doll any day.
Almost a solid 9 for Ozio. He puts a lot of power on this shot. The left lane hooks a little bit more. Kicks the 9 out from behind. Right now, the match is all even. Whew. If Ozio strikes, he forces Letscher to strike. If he gets anything less, Letscher just has to do 1 pin better than that.
224, David Ozio.
For Marty Letscher, he needs a strike on the next ball. Anything less, he loses. If he strikes, he meets Mike Miller in the semifinal. I'll tell you, Marty Letscher, I did not think he had it in him to throw that great a shot with the little experience he has. He just threw just a crisp, nice lofted ball out over the foul line. All he has to do is just stay in the building, stay behind the foul line. He has a possible 244. He's going to meet Mike Miller in the semifinal. There's a winner right there.
And he does it with a strike. Marty Letscher of Bel Air, Maryland, first national telecast, defeats the great champion David Ozio. Watch this, the advantages of using a lighter ball to convert certain splits. Here's Bo.
ABC Sports Bowling Tip of the Week is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Hey, Gino, good shot. The 310 conversion. You know, it looked to me, though, that you hit that 3-pin awful full to convert the 310. What weight ball are you using?
Bobo, I'm using a 12-pound ball.
A 12-pound ball. That could make the difference. Let's look at the deflection characteristics between a 16-pound ball and the lighter ball. A 16-pound bowling ball, if it hits to the right of the 3-pin, doesn't have much margin of error to deflect into the 10. There the ball's in good position, drives into the 10. Now a ball that's just a couple pounds lighter, a 14-pound bowling ball, gives you about 3 boards more margin of error. In this position, a 16-pound ball would never convert this 310 split. Gino, thanks a lot for the help on the tip. It's a lesson we can all learn. For certain splits and spares, a lighter ball may be very helpful to converting them.
Fact, the all-new Ford Escort is the best-selling small car in America. Fact, the new Escort has the highest owner satisfaction of any car in our history. Fact, Escort has more repeat buyers than any car in its class. Call it leadership, call it winning, call it anything you want. The simple fact is, Ford is #1. Save during Leadership Month at your Ford dealer now.
Linen, no better way to face the day.
The morning belongs to Skin Bracer Aftershave. Its cool, brisk tingle really gets you going. And what a great scent. Skin Bracer.
No better way to face the day. Find Linen.
Head and Shoulders for my serious dandruff? Blue is better. Extra medicated Selsun Blue.
With a medicine doctors recommend most. Medicine that relieves flaking better than Head and Shoulders.
Blue is better.
Selsun Blue, doctor recommended #1.
Why is it so difficult to communicate? Why do people hurt each other? Why do some guys have a hard time adjusting? Why? Ask why. Try Bud Dry. It's cold filtered for smooth draft taste. It's dry brewed for no aftertaste. It's the perfect refreshment for the games people play.
Here's something for all you truck drivers to think about. There's an oil made special for trucks. An oil with the Shell brand. Oil that protects engines when they rev to their highest and work their hardest. Think any oil will take care of your truck? Think again. Truck Guard from Shell.
strike out to score more.
I just can't seem to find the pocket.
Call 1-800-4ABC-VCR and let Bo Burton's instructional home videos, Score More, help you solve your bowling problems.
Here's what the pros do.
Learn Bo's valuable tips on performance, practice techniques, body conditioning, and equipment selection, and Score More. Only $24.98 plus $3 shipping. To order Bo's home video, call 1-800-4ABC-VCR.
So, running down our national championship after 2 matches, David Ozio with 10 strikes eliminated Brian Brazeau 267 to 232. Then in steps a non-winner, first time on national TV with 8 strikes, eliminates David Ozio, Martin Letscher. Now that means he'll go against Mike Miller of Albuquerque, New Mexico. And while they get ready for that match, our entire ABC Sports crew here in the state of Ohio today, and I can speak for them, we have a heartfelt sympathy message to our special friend and producer, director, colleague, Doug Wilson, and his 3 sons, Ted, Jamie, and Peter. Because you see, after a long and hard-fought battle against that cruel disease, cancer, Debbie Wilson, terrific wife, caring mother, passed away this week. Debbie was a delightful friend. She made her world and all of ours a lot better by being here. She'll be missed. Debbie Wilson.
Chris, the True Value Open is the next tournament, $200,000. Then the second jewel in bowling's Triple Crown, the BPAA U.S. Open. And we had a great field here, 302 players, average game 210, very good, 216 to make the top 24. There were 300 games. Some of the other players, Mark Thayer, very close. Holman is going for the Triple Crown. Weber still a hot hand. Chris Warren back bowling well. Deadeye, Dave Ferraro, the Firestone champion, tuning up for the majors. Levi Bornhop back on the tour. Doug Kent bowling well. Edwards, watch this young man bowling well. Ballard, we all know him. He's been on the championship round a number of times. Phil Ringener, Petraglia, 1980 national champion. John Force, a power player. Mazda, the 710 man. And Billy Young Jr., Mike Albee. And rounding out the top 24, Darrell Bauer, Jimmy Pritz Jr., 23rd. And Joe Salvemi, another left-hander. 75 places were paid this week. And it was a very exciting tournament all the way through 56 games. Now we're ready for the semifinal.
Okay, 2 right-handers, 2 non-winners on the PBA Tour. Martin Letscher, you're familiar with because in the last game he defeated David Ozio 240 to 224. Mike Miller, his opponent. And leaving a 9-pin on the left lane.
Well, urethane bowling ball, 3-pound, 7-ounce pins, and a good top player relaxed in the championship round. Overpowers the pins. Martin Letscher, apparent good hit, leaves the solid 9 and easy spare.
So, deep breath after the first frame. New experience for Martin Letscher and handling it well. However, Mike Miller's had a little more experience. It's his 3rd telecast, 2nd this year. Because Bo, we remember him as top seed, right? And he lost to Ozio in Las Vegas.
Well, he's bowled so well, Chris, in his 2 championship rounds. As you see, the unique style, little 5-step stutter delivery. Look at that arm cocked, no thumb in the ball, stays right underneath it. Probably the most powerful bowling ball that I've ever seen on the Professional Bowlers Tour. He gets about 16 or 17 revolutions, no thumb in the ball, and he keeps that cupped in his palm of his hand. And what power.
Sponsored by his family. And already this year he's earned $33,418.
And his style's not unique, Chris. Many of the bowlers in South Africa use the no-thumb delivery. I've seen a lot of teenagers around the country using it. And before bowling was ever really, really popular back in the 1800s, most players bowled without any holes in the ball. So he's just falling back to an age-old style.
Okay, Martin Letscher, first strike of this game. He tells us about the changes he's made and his plans for the future.
Well, when I was out here in the 80s, I struggled a little bit and had some arm problems. I got that solved last year with an operation. I quit bowling for about 4 months. When I came back, I got a coach and was able to practice a lot more, got a lot sharper. And who knows, this might lead to me coming out here full-time again.
Well, after today, Bo, we will see that gentleman down the road.
You're right, Chris. And the operation he had on his shoulder, he had some bone removed from the socket of his shoulder and some ligaments that were re-sewn. So it's helped him to practice more, as he said, and he's really looking sharp. As Mike Miller comes up in the third, perfect through 2.
Mike leaving a 10-pin, and we mentioned how Marty's family into bowling. Well, talk about into bowling as a family. Mike's sister, Dana Miller Mackey, is an LPBT multi-champion. His dad's on the senior tour. Well, they really go after it.
They sure do, and he's switching to a regular ball, Chris, with his thumb in it for the spare.
Okay. Mike Miller shares with us how he got the idea for the 2-fingered palm ball he uses.
I think it was a combination of frustration and just being willing to do anything I could possibly do before I actually went home and tried something else with my life. So I was practicing one day in Edmond, Oklahoma, and I picked up a house ball off the rack. It was 14 pounds, started throwing it, and all of a sudden I threw about 7 or 8 in a row, and my buddy said, you know, that doesn't look too bad. He said, you might want to try that. So that's what I did. I tried it in the next tournament. And lo and behold, here I am, 3 TV shows later.
All right. Trailing by 110, Mike Miller, as he goes against Martin Letscher here in our semifinal match. We'll return after this.
Freedom's the one.
Only one gum leads the way when you've got dental work, and that's Freedent. Freedent won't stick to your dental work, so you can be confident chewing it. And because it also moistens your mouth and freshens your breath, Freedent's in a class by itself.
Freedom's the one that took the stick out of gum, and Freedom moistens your mouth. Yeah, moistens your mouth and freshens your breath while you chew.
Non-stick Freedent moistens your mouth and freshens your breath.
Man, no better way to face the day. When the sun comes up, then I'm feeling fine, 'cause the AM surely is my favorite sign.
The morning belongs to Speed Stick. It's what more men reach for: to prepare, to prevent, to protect. Speed Stick, 110% protection.
No better way to face the day. Man, no better way to face the day.
Speed Stick, 110% protection.
American football heads to Great Britain. The Knights tackle the Monarchs live from London. It's the World League tomorrow on ABC Sports.
Yes, from Wembley Stadium tomorrow at 1 Eastern, 12 Central and Pacific. New Jersey, New York Knights versus London Monarchs. From Bel Air, Maryland, who defeated David Ozio in the last match, Martin Letscher, leading by 1. Wow. And with that double, jumps out to an 11-pin lead. Here's Bo.
Thank you, Chris. Tournament leader Norm Duke, your sparring partner Mike Miller could be your opponent for the championship round. You show him any sympathy?
Not at all. I'm sure he didn't show me any sympathy either. It's going to be tough. You know, the guys are posting some good scores, and their lanes are playable from everywhere. It really doesn't matter who you bowls, just who's ready to win today.
Neither one of these fellows are champions. You think you have a big advantage?
I don't look at that as an advantage. I know how nervous it is to go out there and try to win your first title, but I'm going to be equally as nervous. I just think whoever performs is going to win.
Good scores, Chris, and it'll be an exciting final match.
Yes, Norm Duke, who won last week in Parma Heights, Ohio, the Bud Light Open for his second championship in an 8-year career. All right, here is Mike Miller. And that strike. Keeping within 11 pins of his opponent. Here are the leaders by round.
56-game tournament, and the first 4 rounds you see are 8-game qualifying rounds. 32 games, then Norm Duke just took over from Mike Miller. The last 24, 56 games in all. Miller Boeing is 57th. Right now we have a very tight match. Miller trailing by 11. Could cut it to 1 here in the 6th.
Mike Miller in that match play was 7-15-2, while Marty Letscher, who's up and ready to go, was 13-10-1.
Good match game records, and I'll tell you what, Mike Miller just put it on Marty Letscher. You can do a little bit more than with your bowling ball. You can with your body. Let's see if he psyched him out with that little fist in the air. 6th frame.
Didn't bother Marty. There are some psyching tricks that you pros do, Bo.
Well, you're right, Chris. It's match game competition, and it's a lot of strikes out there now, and you have to know to attack when there's strikes out there, and you have to know when to back off and be conservative. Right now, you have to throw strikes, and we'll see how Marty Letscher is playing the lanes. He's playing a medium outside line, sliding right in here, and watch how he takes this bowling ball and just slides it right between these two and right around the 2nd arrow.
Left a 10-pin.
Letscher with a real good shot there, Chris. Solid 10. It's going to be just a 10-pin difference as we go finish the 7th frame. Remember, he missed this 10-pin once in the first match.
Yes. Made sure. Letscher in the lead by 10. More of the semifinal following this.
To show how Firestone Firehawk tires perform, we occasionally take some of them for a little weekend drive. At the toughest tracks across the country, we put our Firestone Firehawk street performance tires, including the same SB radials you can buy, to the test in racing. Over 1 million miles now, and still counting. Firestone, tires that meet the test.
Great weekend. Sure went fast.
In my considered opinion, it's okay to enjoy mowing one's lawn. Oh, for heaven's sake. In fact, my snapper significantly enhances my sense of well-being. Of course, my snapper dealer was kind enough to offer a 14-day money-back test drive. The good man really stands behind his machines. So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional help. That's right. See your snapper dealer. Anything less just won't cut it.
It's hammer time. Bowling's Best will try to nail down the trophy at the True Value Open on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour next Saturday.
We have returned to Imperial Lanes.
Mike Ducat and his father Darryl have been our proprietors, and they have the most successful Pro-Am of any tournament we ever have on the PBA Tour. Over 2,000 Pro-Am entries every year, with a record 2,608 in 1989. Chris, as Miller comes up in the 7th frame, can even the match with a strike.
3 in a row, using about all of the approach. Nine pin on that right lane for Mike Miller of Albuquerque.
Quickly up, he switches to a very shiny ball, as you see his position, and his tremendous release. He doesn't go around the ball. He goes straight up the back, about 16, 17 revolutions on the ball, breaks up the split, has an easy 9-pin spare.
And there is Jody Ann, bride of 2 weeks. They were married March 16.
Lovely lady. Mike Miller was just kind of a journeyman player out here before he switched to the no-thumb delivery, and since then in 18 tournaments he's had 14 cashes, 8 top 24s, and 3 top 5s. He's still looking for his first victory, so power has made the difference in this young man's career.
And then a high hit.
Well, what is that? We don't even hardly see that. He throws so much of a hook ball that he leaves an unusual split. Has to get the ball over in the 3-6 zone, as you see him cutting right through the center of the pins. gets this 3-6 over in this area, and then drive the ball over into the 4-pin. He's going to throw his hook at it, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Bad choice.
Mm-hmm. So, Martin Letscher, back up.
The door has been opened.
With a spare working, Marty leaves the 10-pin. I mentioned the American Bowling Congress tournament here in Toledo. It goes 113 consecutive days, and nearly 50,000 bowlers will come through Toledo.
Great tournament. As you see Letscher playing that outside line, leaves the soft 10, as we call it. 6-pin not quite having enough impetus to knock out the 10, but Letscher's been around the pocket. He hasn't been beating himself. He's in good position to win this semifinal.
We're at Imperial Lanes, and next week we go to Ray Becker's Landmark Lanes in Peoria for the True Value Open, another $200,000 tournament.
And, of course, that True Value bonus of $100,000 every week for a 300-game doubles next week, and that's one of the highest scoring tournaments. So, Chris, there's always a great possibility of somebody racking it up there as Miller contemplates what Letscher is doing. Letscher going at a 2:38 pace. Boy, the door opens up. Marty, with not enough speed on there, has left himself the 4, 6, 7. He's looking at the scoreboard. He goes right through the middle. What he needs to do, needs to get the ball over in the 4-7 zone and just take a chance on bouncing one of those pins out into the 6, but can't give up the count.
Late in the game, 2 non-winners coming up with errors, and now only 12 pins separate them.
Well, for the best strike bowler on the tour, he needs some strikes. You see his grip, just sticks these fingertips in the ball, no thumb, and the power, he needs it now, needs to put it in the 1-3 zone. Well, that sets him up, Chris, for a possibility of winning the game, but it's absolutely imperative for Mike Miller to strike here on the first ball in the 10th. Without a strike, he cannot win.
Doubling here now, late in our semifinal game. The winner to go on to meet the tournament leader, Norm Duke, who won last week.
Boy, did he just saw up those pins there. He ripped them in the 9th, ripped them the first ball in the 10th. Now he has at least made Marty Letscher mark and get a good count. If he strikes again, he'll force Letscher to throw a double in a good count. The match is up for grabs.
Performance. Here's sister Dana Miller Mackey throwing the ladies tour and a winner. Watching with great interest now.
Mike Miller just has so much area on the lane, so much power, and bowling is a sport right now that has a tremendous premium on power. He has the strike ball. He is now forced, as his wife looks on, forced Marty Letscher to get 2 strikes and a good count to go to the championship match.
232 when it looked hopeless. What a comeback and what a finish.
For Marty Letscher, he needs a strike on the first ball in the 10th, on the second ball in the 10th, and at least 9 pins to win. Anything less, it's Miller's match.
But for Marty Letscher, it's $10,000, finishing 3rd here in the National Championship. And Mike Miller has a chance to win $35,000, but so does Norm Duke, the tournament leader whom he'll meet after this. Here's a word from our ABC station.
Heartburn? You know what to do about that.
But what if it's heartburn plus gas?
Well, now comes Tums Plus. Calcium-rich antacid relief plus gas-busting simethicone.
No other antacid gives you that.
No, sir. To get rid of heartburn plus gas, don't get caught minus. New Tums Plus.
Power Stick antiperspirant. It gives a man what he needs to excel. Power. Control. Power Stick. Stroke per stroke, 50% more power. 50% more odor and wetness fighters. 24-hour control that ordinary deodorant sticks just can't beat. All day, all night. Power Stick for 24-hour control.
Sunday.
You've seen him before.
The Man with No Name returns. Clint Eastwood, Pale Rider, Sunday.
Transport yourself to the year 2001 for a moment. H.B. McClure is here to inspect the York Stellar 2000 cooling system they installed in 1991. Your system is still under warranty and operating efficiently. You had the foresight to add Interstat setback thermostats. York's cooling and Interstat's efficiency brought you comfort and savings. H.B. McClure has been making homes comfortable for over 3/4 of a century. The 10-year warranty is our commitment to the 21st century. Call 232-HEAT.
A perfect game starts with the perfect equipment, and Bowler Supply is right up your alley. Select from bowling balls such as Vector, Hammer, Thunderbolt, and more. Personalized fitting and custom drilling to improve your game. Check out the colorful selection of bags, shoes, and apparel. For the pool player, rack them up on a new billiard table. Choose from in-stock tables or have one custom crafted to complement your decor. We stock accessories, too, for all your billiard needs and the largest inventory of bowling supplies in Central PA. Visit Bowler Supply, 401 Carlisle Avenue, York.
On the next Oprah, when your best friend steals your man.
Hi, everybody. I'm Roger Twyville at the Mission Hills Country Club in Rancho Mirage, California, where the third round is underway in the Nabisco Dinah Shore, the first major of the 1991 season on the LPGA Tour. And a lady who's played on this LPGA Tour now in her 17th year and a two-time winner here, Amy Alcott, has led throughout the first 36 holes, and she continues to lead in this third round. She is at 10 under par. She is 6 shots in front of Patty Sheehan and Tammy Green, Ayako Okamoto, Elaine Crosby, and Martha Nowsey. And the beautiful snow-capped mountains looming high above the Coachella Valley. We've got a beautiful day for you and a great leaderboard, and golf will be upcoming right after the bowling. Now let's go to Chris Schenkel.
Just as Amy Alcott is on a roll in golf, we're on a roll here in bowling. Ozio winning the first game, first of the big scores, 267 to 232. Then in steps Martin Letscher of Bel Air, Maryland, and he defeats Ozio 240 to 224. Another non-winner, Mike Miller, comes in and defeats Letscher 232 to 221. Now Miller has earned the right to meet last week's winner, Norm Duke, bowling out of Albuquerque. So it's 2 from that great New Mexico City. And here in Toledo, Ohio, Bo and all of us at ABC want to wish you a happy Easter, happy Passover. Hope the holiday will be fun and safe. Enjoy it wherever you are.
You're right, Chris. And Mike Miller, he had just a clutch shot there in the 10th frame where he threw 2 strikes. And when Letscher needed a strike, was Miller's reaction when Letscher went wide. Quite a relieved young man as he gets to bowl for the championship here. And there's a lot of good young players out around the country. As we continue with our young strikers around the country, here's a young lady who is 17 years old, averaged 195 to lead the National Junior Championships, shot a 905 4-game series. Quite a young, good player. And one of the young men that we're looking forward to seeing is from the University of Nebraska, the 1990 Junior Boys champion and the Scratch Division champions, Chris Williams. Chris, we may see them out here someday, but here's the big one, the first jewel in bowling's Triple Crown, a non-winner, Mike Miller with the power, going against, I think, bowling's toughest competitor right now, Norm Duke.
Bowling, 35 to the winner, 18,000 to the runner-up. First shot. And a 4-pin on that shot by Mike Miller of Albuquerque. There's Johnny Petraglia on the right of your screen.
Mike cross lane, a lot of speed.
Well, our telecast, you occasionally get a shot of a gentleman with a notepad writing. You know it's an important event when Hal Shanahan of the Akron Beacon Journal comes, and the same for Bill Nichols of Cleveland Plain Dealer, Matt Fiorito of Detroit. This is the national championship. It's, as Bo said, the first of the 3 big ones in bowling.
And the Toledo blade always covers it, gives us good coverage, Chris. Now, Duke.
Well, there he is, the native of Fort Worth, Texas.
Norm Duke, 6-step delivery. Good for a short-statured man, diminutive to say the least, and has just a great style. Look at how steady his head is, good concentration, stays right underneath the ball, and a good finish at the foul line. You really just can't do it much better than he is. He's he's such a versatile player.
Norm leaving the 10-pin. He's been on 4 telecasts in 5 weeks, becoming a regular here on Saturday afternoon.
A lot of Texans. Look at it. Ozio, Ballard, Duke, Lawrence, Chris Warren, Ringener, Mark Williams, McCordick, Dickinson. Why are they so tough in Texas? Match play competition, Chris. They still draw their guns and put up their own money down there, and that develops great players.
Speaking of top guns in Texas, how about Byron Nelson and Ben Hogan? I know Byron's watching.
Byron, one of my favorites, and this young man's getting to be one of everybody's favorites with all that power. Mike Miller.
So Mike has a 2-8-10 bow.
Big trouble, Chris. As he sends the ball wide, it's almost impossible to make this spare. He's just going to try to throw hard at the 2-8 and bounce one of those pins out. Bad mistake there as he gives up 2 pins on the count.
I've seen so many bowlers haunted by that type of a shot.
Well, you're right, Chris. You can't let your temper get to you, and I don't know if that's so much Mike's temper, but he didn't take the time to think. And for that particular spare, there's 2 schools of thought. You can either throw it left-handed. Some of these guys are pretty good left-handed bowlers, or try to slide the 2 into the 10. Now he has to recover in the 3rd.
The ability to make an error and come back. Unlike golf, in bowling, you make an error, you can never recover it. You can never, but you can in golf with the next great shot on the same hole. But in bowling, a frame is a frame.
Good point, too, Chris. And bowling is all sudden death. It's like going to extra holes in golf. So score is kind of relative. It's match play competition.
All right. Norm Duke, one of the hottest bowlers on the tour, recalls his most disappointing moment on the tour.
Peoria, Illinois last year. I was on television, and it was just in my mind that I was going to win the tournament. It was a done deal. And I won the first 2 games and lost the next one. And you know, I had to get off the pair, and it was like, I don't want to, you know. I'm going to win this tournament. It was over. It crushed me. And it's the first time that I had tears in my eyes because of bowling. And I look back at the time, and I remember it.
Well, he got over that smart, and he's doing great, winning last week his 2nd tournament. We'll be back with more of the final after this.
No better way to face the day. When the sun comes up, then I'm feeling fine. 'Cause the AM surely is my favorite time.
The morning belongs to Speed Stick. It's what more men reach for: to prepare, to prevent, to protect. Speed Stick, 110% protection.
No better way to face the day. No better way to face the day.
Speed Stick, 110% protection.
Fact. The full-size Ford pickup has more repeat buyers than any other pickup. Fact. The full-size Ford pickup sales lead over Chevy is wider than last year. Fact, our most popular model is priced $600 less than a comparably equipped Chevy. Call it leadership, call it winning, call it anything you want. The simple fact is, Ford is #1. Save now during Leadership Month at your Ford dealer.
That was a fifth frame shot by Mike Miller of Albuquerque. And as you saw, he left that middle pin, the 5, running behind our time schedule. So while we were away, Mike marked with a spare covering the 10 pin in the 4th frame. And all the time he had that strike working and really wanted to strike in the 4th, but now trails Norm Duke, the top seed, the tournament leader, by 27 pins, and Norm can increase it now.
Duke up and down all week long, had a 300 game and a low of 127, but he zeroed in today. Slides by the 2-5 and just keeping the ball light in the pocket. You don't want to get a split and open up the door, Chris.
We just had a first. 30 years.
Yes.
Somebody heard us talking.
My goodness.
I mean, other than on... That means you're not concentrating.
Norm Duke, who's playing just kind of a standard line out here, is got an ideal form. Let's take a look at it. He's playing right about the left side of the lane, sliding in this area. He'll be going right around the 4th arrow, trying to make a pretty parallel line in between this angle right there.
Came up high, leaving the 3, 6, 10.
A tough spare here in this particular bowling center. We talked about the track area in the bowling center, and he's crossing across the track, and he needs to get the ball just to the right of the 3-pin. You need no hook on this shot.
Norm Duke who led all 3 rounds of match play with a record of 12, 11, and 1.
Now the big strike ball. Mike Miller has been around the pocket almost every frame except the 2nd frame, where he went real light and crossed over again in the 5th. Needs some strikes.
4, 8.
The difficulty with the big power ball that covers so many boards is when you get in trouble, there's hardly any adjustments you can make. Mike is struggling out there right now, has a difficult 4-8 spare.
You know, Bo, a ladies' tournament that gave the women real credibility began out in the desert, the Nabisco Dinah Shore. Another renewal, and we'll see 3rd round play immediately following our telecast from Toledo. Amy Alcott having a very hot putter out there. Roger Twibell and all the crew will tell you about it live after this. All right, Power Man striking the 7th frame because it is getting late.
Boy, he's really lost too, Chris. He's been light on the right-hand lane and crossed over on the left-hand lanes the last 2 shots, and he's going to have to pull up all reserves to catch this man in the championship.
There you see Micah Duke, Norm's brother, and Norm is leading in the averages to 18.9.
And as Duke takes a commanding lead into the 8th frame, could extend to 34. Strike working. The full approach, 17 feet, 6-step delivery.
There's a 4-pin. Norm, who won last week. If he can go and win here, we'll take the money lead. If that happens, he we'll have a total of 93,000.
Third back-to-back winner we would have. David Ozio winning the first two of 91. Pete Weber winning 2 in a row in the middle of the season.
Remember, Mike Miller has a strike up in the 7th. He'll be shooting in the 8th frame. He can cut the lead to 14 with a strike here.
Real important shot. First place, this is the lane that Miller will have to finish on in the 10th frame. He'll have to strike in the 10th to win the championship. And he's also trailing by 24, but can cut that lead down to 14.
With emphasis, punctuation mark. Jody Ann, the bride.
Take a quick moment while Miller sets himself on the approach, Chris, to wish a happy Easter to my mother, who's recovering St. Mary's Hospital in St. Louis. See you tomorrow, Mom.
I'll tell you, we, all of us, ABC, this beautiful woman, mother of 4, took good care of Nelson Sr. for all these years. We got to get her out of the hospital and back home.
That's for sure.
Look at that.
What a terrific break at such an opportune time. Mike Miller takes a 2-8-10 split and converts it into a strike in a must situation. Watch the pins remaining after the head pin disappears. There they are, the 2-8 and 10. The head pin goes behind the 4, trips the 4 into the 2-8. The match is on. 9th frame for Duke. Norm Duke around the pocket every shot except for the 5th and 6th frames. Had a strike, a 10-pin, a double, then a 2-5 and a 3-6-10 strike, 4-pin, 10-pin. Has a possible 2-14 game. No matter what Duke does, Miller will have a chance to win in the 10th. Well, Miller has proven that he can strike in the clutch. As in the semifinal game, he came up and struck in the 9th, 10th, twice in the 10th to put away Martin Letscher. He will have to strike, unless Duke opens, will have to strike to win the national championship. Pretty cool, huh, partner?
So cool.
For Norm Duke, he can finish with 2-14. He can make the lead 13 pins with another strike here in the 10th. That would force Miller to strike twice. Right now, he's forced Miller to strike at least once.
Norm Duke, who prior to last week in Cleveland hadn't won since 1983. And he wins his 2nd title in Parma Heights, the Bud Light Open, and now here he is going against Mike Miller, who was hoping for his first and a big win.
Well, he's finished like a true champion, and a way to finish the national championship, he has forced Mike Miller to throw 2 strikes for the title.
Jody Ann.
The graphic tells the story. 1 strike, the 4 pins is automatic. Mike Miller, his first championship, a 3-year exemption to the Firestone Tournament of Champions, all on this ball. Chris, he's just going to throw it down the middle. No Ballard ball in this shot. We have a new national champion.
And now he joins Dave Sutar, Bob Strampy, Warren Nelson, Mike Albee, Bob Chamberlain, and Tom Kreitz, winning their first PBA title at the PBA National Championship. Bride and groom, $35,000 richer here in the 11th PBA National at Imperial Lanes. Okay, 218 to 214.
Good game, good friends. And now that I use Fix-It, I can tell the ref what I really think.
Fix-It and forget it.
Are you nuts? Before I switched to Fix-It, Jones Peanut Crunchies only look delicious.
Fix-It and forget it. Fix-It is the strongest holding denture adhesive you can get. It even stands up to the hottest liquids.
With my old adhesive, I'd never make a presentation and drink hot coffee at the same time.
For the strongest hold you can get. Fix-It and forget it.
George 117 in pursuit of request additional backup. You copy? 117. Sanford 16, we copy. Approaching 69 block. Let's get a roadblock.
More police cars throughout America come on Goodyear Eagle radials than any other brand of tires. Why? Because they want it that way.
Attention all units.
Goodyear Eagles. The authorities know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Shine a light on you, shine a light on me. Keep your footlight shining for everyone to see.
Every day, more and more people are getting together over an ice-cold Bud Light.
Well, you can taste it, you can feel it, you know you got it right. 'Cause everything else is just a lie. Just keep your Bud Light shining. Just a light. Oh, it's always shine on. Living, no better way to face the day.
The morning belongs to Skin Bracer Aftershave. Its cool, brisk tingle really gets you going. And what a great scent. Skin Bracer.
No better way to face the day, fine men.
Red Devil enamel. You can always count on its durable finish. Harder than ordinary paints, its beauty lasts and lasts. Red Devil enamel for the finish of a lifetime.
Excitement all day here at the Imperial Lanes, and especially the final match. Mike Miller winning at 218 to 214, 35,000. Norm Duke, last week's winner, with 18,000 so on. Jody Ann and her bridegroom, Mike Miller, getting the trophy from Mike Duquette and the $35,000 check from Daryl Duquette and a PBA National jacket to go with it. See you next week from Peoria.
Pro Bowlers Tour has been brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by the makers of Tums, the sodium-free antacid that's rich